hurtful.
Where it gets too hard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your next production of the Better League Network. I am one of the standard hosts, CMass, here, joined by three of the most handsome gentlemen, three of Miami brothers of Better League. Just going not any particular order, but by handsomeness level. So number one's going to be Dan. Dan, how are you feeling tonight, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Just really excited to finally give you guys this content. I know you guys have just been blue-balled for weeks, months if you count the week one poll that never came out. But it's great to come out here with the mid-cycle power rankings. This is one of my long-term projects I want to keep going with. Do a beginning of the cycle, mid-cycle, end cycle, pre-cycle, and just keep doing that in a rotation just to see how people do throughout the cycles. And it's a good tool to see, who was good and who was not, and how the competition ebbs and flows all throughout the year. So it's fun to do, and let's do this one for now. Let's get this one going.
Next up is Mr. Connor Rice. Connor, how you feeling tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great, CMass. I've been getting blue balled my whole life. This is nothing new to me. I know there's going to be a lot of controversy in these power rankings. I know everyone's looking forward to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know it. I mean, CMass, you can give like our knowledge levels going into this once we're done with the introductions. But I'm just excited, being here with CMass, Cody, and Dan. It doesn't get any better than this.
And last but not least, Mr. Cody Youngson. Cody, how you feeling tonight, bro?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to be here tonight. That's all.
So, yeah. Cody's a little nonchalant, not really feeling it today, so that's fine. Appreciate you being here nonetheless. So, as Dan was saying before, this is our power rankings. Dan's the one that kind of takes this. Thank you to those who voted in the bottom left-hand corner. That's Cody, that's Dan, that's Connor. Whoops. Steele, Little Alex, Cam, Tim, Lucky, Boz, Justin, King, Hero, and Dealing Debts. Thank you all so much for voting. So this is going to be a little breakdown for you of what to expect. If you were here for the pre-cycle power rankings, we didn't break it down team by team. We broke it down by groups. So there's different group levels based on how it's voted. Dan, I'll let you explain a little bit more about how that works.
Yeah, obviously. First of all, thank you for everyone that voted. Really appreciate it. It takes some time to go through 1 through 32 and think about how every user belongs in these rankings. So thank you guys very much. So everyone submitted theirs. I think I got 10, 11, 12 submissions, maybe 13. Maybe I'm just can't count or something. But it was very clear based on when I put this in the spreadsheet and added up all the votes and everything like that, that you could see that there were certain gaps. So there was a certain gap between 26 and 25. There's a certain gap between 14 and 13, and another gap between 5 and 4. So that basically says that this league sees that there are 4 distinct tiers, and they have told us where each user belongs in those tiers. So I'm excited to show you guys what we came up with and what you guys came up with, really. And it's going to be interesting. And as Connor says, there's going to be a lot of controversy, but I'm here for it. We love the controversy, so let's get to it.
Might get a little toxic too in the chat. People realizing who's voted higher than others might get a little upsetting, maybe here in the booth too. I don't know if we'll get to hero steal levels after the AFC Championship game, but we'll go ahead and see about that. 2 people already subscribing. Top Madden Gaming Finn for his 8th straight month. 8 months total, 6 months straight, and then Cam, who's just god tier level of donating to Better League Network, 19 straight months. Boba Cam's been going. He says butts. And let's go ahead and get rolling here with the bottom of the barrel users. Just so you know, Dan couldn't come up with the names I did. So if you have any problems with the names of the groups, you know who to take complaints to. All right, let's go ahead and get rolling. Bottom of the barrel, we're going to go through all of them that are in here. Okay, starting off at number 32 is Mr. Nicholas. And you can see there at the breakdown, the bottom right-hand corner of each panel will say the highest vote they got, the lowest vote they got, and the PS stands for preseason, as in the preseason power rankings. He was ranked 32, so you see it's the exact same. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. Nick at 32, then we got 31. We got Mr. Tony, a newcomer. Then we've got Jesse at number 30, Ryan number 29, Chap at 28, P-Town at 27, and then last but not least in the bottom of the barrel users is Mr. Dr. Gamble. This is rounded up for the bottom of the barrel users, and those who don't know, Dan and I know all the results, but Cody and Connor do not. So we're going to start off with Dan, get his thoughts, and then get to the people that don't know about it. Dan, thoughts on this?
All right, so compiling the records and knowing all we know from previous cycles, I think it comes out to be about 24 or 25 total users make the playoffs every cycle. So what this is really telling you is the league believes that these are the users that are probably not going to make the playoffs for the rest of the cycle. And you can't really say that because this league is pretty deep, and I can see a guy like P-Town step up and make it. We were talking about Gamble past couple of days, how well he's playing lately, playing above his usual standards. He can definitely make the playoffs. But, as a general rule of thumb, these bottom of the barrel guys are the guys that, don't necessarily make the playoffs, are here to have fun, here to compete, for a couple wins here and there, and just have a good time. And as Taint says many times in the past, these are the guys that hold the league together. So you might think that, these guys are irrelevant or they don't matter, but think of a guy like Nick. Nick gets his ass kicked all the time, but he stays in. He stays in, competes. How many people would do that? How many people would do that? How many people would leave if they lost 16 games a season?
Ben.
So these guys,
Ben,
when they got to that level, just saying. And so really, these guys have the most heart. If you stick along and at this level, at this tier, bottom tier, you have the most heart in the league, in my opinion.
Connor, your thoughts?
All right, so we already have some crack users in this league. First and foremost, someone gave Tony a vote of 26. I have nothing but love for Tony. I've never played him, but I have nothing but love for him. He's, kind of popped off in the chat recently. But for someone to rank him 26, the man has 1 career win in the Better League, right? He's like 1-14, 1-15, something like that. We cannot have that, ladies and gentlemen. I think that battle should have been thrown out. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Connor. Sorry, I should have mentioned this before. If you want me to expose any of these highs and lows, I'm here.
Yes.
I got the results in front of me. So if you want to request them, just let me know.
I'll hold off for now. Maybe once we get into kind of the mid-tier, high tier, if there's anything wild in there, I might hit you up. But for now, we'll hold off on that. But just kind of going up the list here. Nick, I ranked Nick 30th just based on heart. I mean, it's like he said. The man. You could really call him the heart and soul of the Better League. For someone to just take L after L like he does and stick around. I couldn't do it. I don't think there's a lot of people in this league who could do it. So nothing but respect for Nick. I would just recommend he get in the lab with Austin a little bit. You think even one session would help him out there. Jesse, with that Kansas City Chiefs team, I think he's more dangerous than the 30 spot. Obviously, I don't think he's worse off necessarily than, Ryan Chap necessarily. But yeah, I mean, just based on the kind of lack of tenure he's had so far, 30 is fair. Ryan and Chap, I kind of lumped them together. I think this is actually the exact order I had them in. I think I had Chap 28 and Ryan 29 in my list as well. So all fair there. P-Town, I think, will I shouldn't say most likely, but I think there's like a decent chance he'll make playoffs at some point. So this bottom of the barrel designation may get exposed. But also, again, lack of tenure and also the win-loss record. I think it's 14 and 28 right now in the cycle. So that's not ideal. And then, I've been hyping up my guy Gamble. Unfortunately, since I hyped him up, I think he's lost every game he's played. So maybe that's another kiss of death there.
He's been in every game, though, right? He has been
in every game, yeah. Almost beat Alex, who's one of the top users. Obviously, we'll get to those rankings later. But he almost beat Alex. I mean, that's all I can say to that. But he, I don't know. I think Gamble's like low-key one of the better runners in the league. He's one of those guys where like if he just like grounded and pounded more, he'd be better off. But Joe Burrow likes to throw those picks too, so here we are.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was shipped out last offseason to the Denver Broncos, but now Mitch Hunter is tossing those bricks out there to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then I was going to remind people of something I can't remember. Oh, yeah, these results were before this season. So sometimes, there's some recency bias, so somebody might be, 5-2. Like Jesse's played pretty well since this came out, so he may have bumped up a few more spots. But let's go ahead and get over to Cody. Your thoughts on the bottom of the barrel?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you guys have said it pretty well. I mean, I got to give a shout out to my guy P-Town, and a virtual hug for sure, no doubt about it. No, but I think, yeah, I mean, first things first, I hate to see the disrespect from my NFC West brothers. I mean, those guys are some dogs. I mean, I just feel like we're really sleeping on them. Chap, Tony, Ryan, a lot of bark, and a lot of bite in both of the, in all three of those guys. And so would love to see them maybe, start to crack into the top tier instead of the bottom of the barrel, but we'll see what happens, as the cycle goes on. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. I mean, Nick, so much heart. Friggin' Gamble is, been a guy that's going to be around, and he keeps competing with, some of these guys that are mid-tier, top-tier users. Tony P-Town, newer to the league. Chap, Ryan, been here a while. Jesse, obviously been here, but I guess, has had his absences and his come-back-ins, if you will. So, I think this list makes sense. Nothing really shocking to me.
Yeah, and I think looking at this list, I don't think there's anybody on here that I'd really pound the table for and say they need to be higher. I feel like all of them are okay where they're at. I think I was going to say I think I voted on them, but I didn't submit a list. I apologize, Dan. But hopefully PowerPoint will make up for it. Let's move on from the bottom of the barrel users. We're going to go to the next level, which is the largest one, and that is the fringe playoff users. So this is fringe playoff users part 1. Coming in at number 25 is Chase. After him is Taint coming in there with Cam right up the gut. Boz, the tank specialist, at 22. Tim at number 21, who's risen about 8 spots since preseason. And then Phil rounding out this part 1 at number 20, going up 1 spot. Dan, your thoughts on this first group from the fringe playoff users?
Hello? Is it my turn?
Yeah, I got it, bud.
Okay. All right, got it. Let's go. So, as looking at these playoff users, looking at these fringe playoff users, as you said, I think that most of these guys, at least half of them have made the playoffs, maybe a little bit more. And I know every single one of them has probably been in contention to make it until the very end, till like weeks 17, 18, and so on. I know Taint has had his week 18 disappointments and things like that. Tim has been in contention all the way to the end, I think, for basically every season. So he's got a lot of heart there. But you only have, I think, one guy who's won a playoff game in any of these, and it's Phil at 20. And Phil did pretty well his first season, but he's kind of dipped down to, his worst self lately. But you do have guys like Finn and Cloud who were 1 seeds. Cloud was a 1 seed in season 2 with the Titans.
We haven't got to them yet.
But, okay.
We're at 20 through 25 right now.
Okay. Sorry, I can't even see it. But Finn is a 1 seed. Finn was a 1 seed. I think he got a lot of. He must have gotten a lot of votes downwards. I think a lot of people taking the factor that you left the league. People don't like to see that. and come back. So I think you get like a penalty there. I know somebody put him 32. I can't see who right now, but it's just how that goes. So yeah, all these guys are on the doorstep of the playoffs. They're not there yet to really compete for it all, but they certainly can because, again, this league is every given Sunday.
Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think couple surprising things to me. One that I think I'd like to call out that's interesting is Chase. Obviously, hasn't been in the league for about a cycle or so. But just the preseason, rejoined the league preseason poll came in at 14. Now it is all the way down at 25 with a low of 27. Pretty surprising to me. I feel like he's been pretty competitive with that NFC East that, obviously has Little Alex and Lucky, who are, obviously both very good competitors. I was actually his high vote at 18. 25 seems a bit low to me, in my opinion, for Chase. I mean, I'm not saying he's, I'm not saying he should be 10 or something like that, but, I could see him moving up 7 spots and I wouldn't bat an eye about it, something like that, but Boz being as low as he is at 22, a little bit surprising, but, especially, I guess, there's the did Boz tank debate. And then, but making the playoffs last year, correct? Or just missing the playoffs? I can't remember.
He made it, yeah.
Yeah. But outside of that, I think, Taint makes sense for me. Cam makes sense for me. Cam's had his moments, but, has just missed out a couple times. Phil at 20, I think makes sense. Tim at 21, I feel like Tim could be a bit lower. I feel like, he's had all the tools in his tool belt, gunslinger. He's played some good games, but just can really never get the job done. So, I feel like, if you want to go ahead and like move some stuff around, like I could see on this list, at least I could see Chase at 20, Phil at 21, Tim at 25, something like that, maybe a little bit. But for the most part, no disagreements, but just a couple surprising things to me.
Connor.
All right, well, this has just become an episode of First Take. We're going to embrace debate here. If I'm Tim, I'm feeling disrespected. My man has a winning record in the regular season, and that's in a really tough division. You got Alex in there, you've got Dan in there, you've got obviously Boz in there who's frisky. Tim is a winning record. I don't know. I mean, that he to me was the one among this group of 6 where like I'm feeling a bit hot if I'm Tim. Like I might consider myself like a 19 or an 18 guy potentially, not 21. I thought Tim got a bit disrespected. As far as all the other guys go, obviously Phil like really peaked season 1, and that tends to be the thing with Phil is he tends to come out hot out of the gate as the cycle starts and then kind of fade as the cycle goes on. That's kind of what we saw here. Remember, he did beat Austin by like 30 points in the playoffs, so that's kind of wild to get to bump just based off that. But since then, it's been kind of a no-show. Boz has just had a weird cycle. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know like what type of performance that was against me. We both sucked that game. That whole game was just like I don't know, should have been stricken off the airwaves, if I'm being honest. But Boz at 22, yeah, with all things considered, feels about right. Cam, obviously nothing but love for Cam. He's Shepherd Hotel brother. But 23, can't disagree with that. The Buffalo Wolverines, if we will, are really doing their thing. And then Tate and Chase, I think Chase belongs where he is. Again, I kind of disagree with Cody on that one. Excuse me. 25 feels about right, given the general lack of consistency we've seen from him against top 2 users. And Tate, I'm praying on it. I'm praying on a playoff run from you, but every game I watch, my faith in you kind of goes down a little. So prove me wrong, Taint. Prove me wrong.
Hope dwindles for Taint as the cycle goes on. Y'all basically said my thoughts. I agree with Connor, though. I thought Tim should have been higher, so I was a little surprised when Cody said he should have been lower. But Boz, I mean, I just look at that disparity, a high of 13, a low of 28. I'm off the top of my head, I think that might be the biggest disparity. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Dan, who put him 13? Dan, who put him 13?
Right. He's in this group, and I think I honestly think like
hey, I'm Team Boz for life.
Like Cody. Like the guy tanks. Okay, why would you put a guy in 13? That's just a tanker. So
because we did these. Because when did we answer this question? When did we do these rankings?
It's 3 seasons, Cody. It's not just based off of one. You have to get all 3 in there.
He kept improving, and I liked what I saw. He kept improving. I liked what I saw.
Against me. 9 interceptions.
He kept improving. I'm Team Boz for life.
He did not improve. Okay.
I'm Team Boz for life.
So yeah, that's what happens when we release the votes. Yeah, but that one kind of surprised me, just the difference between the 13 and 28. But we move on. I can't argue any of these guys should be in a higher group, so I think they're good here. Let's go with the fringe playoff users, part 2. So another 6 in this section. So move on to the next one here. Coming in at Finn at number 19. Dan talked about it a little bit, spoiled a little bit. Then we got 18 for Monk, 17 for Kumar, Cook coming in at 16, Cloud at 15, former 1 seed, and then the last but not least, 14, CMass here, finishing out the fringe playoff users part 2. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I was going to say is if you were to say who had the best season out of all these, probably Finn had the best single season out of anyone in this tier, except he just fell flat against Cody in the divisional round season 1. Remember, he went 16-1 with that Falcons team. That was pretty impressive right out the gate for the cycle. And I think he started, he kind of fell flat season 2, and then he kind of left this league for some time. But Cloud also was a 1 seed. He had a hard fought game against King in the divisional round. He did win his division twice, season 1, season 2. He fell flat season 3. So I think if you were to go with the whole body of work for the first 3 seasons, come on, I think he is a little. I think he should be a little bit higher than 15, to be honest. Maybe even higher than you. I'm sorry, CMass, but I'd put Cloud higher than you.
He had a really good season. Yeah, for sure.
You, CMass, it's you had a pretty good season 1. Almost made I think season 2, right? You barely missed the playoffs, and then season 3, you kind of stormed back, but you had that really, really discouraging wild card loss. I think that really hurt you in these rankings. Maybe a little bit of recency bias on that from some of the voters, but I agree with basically this whole tier. Otherwise, Monk's a really good player. I think when he plays his best, he's a really good runner. I don't know who put him at 25. Let me see that. Yeah, I really disagree with 25 for him because he made the playoffs his first season, and I think when he's at his best, he can compete with anyone. So this list really demonstrates the depth of this league, and you can just kind of see, man, any of these guys can really beat anyone on their best days. So that's really the beauty of BL.
Connor.
Yeah, I think Dan summed it up really well at the end there. This is the group of guys where you start to see them be able to really kind of like nip up at the heels of the top users based on any given Sunday. All 6 of these guys, you could really see, beating whoever on their day. As far as Finn goes, obviously the 32 vote, that's a troll vote. I'm not even going to get mad about that because someone's just trying to get at Finn. It is what it is. I don't even want that person exposed because honestly, they're not worth the time on this production here.
Damn right.
As far as Monk goes, obviously, had that really nice run to the wild card round. I think maybe Monk a bit underrated here just based on, you look at that division he's in, he has to go against Austin and King. And, with that, the fact that he was able to get to the wild card round and almost beat King, I believe that game went to overtime. Maybe a bit underrated, but also, again, lack of tenure compared to these guys. So I understand it. Kumar at 17 feels perfect. No complaints. I'll say this, CMass. It's intervention time. I need a playoff win out of you. We were hyping you up, on these very airwaves. We were saying, you might be
preseason number 4.
But exactly, yeah. I mean, I had you. I think number 2 behind Cody. I was saying, this is your. Not only is this your division, this might be your conference. I was saying I see a Super Bowl out of you, and then we lose 50-7 to Justin fucking Thiele, dude. Yeah. What are we doing? Now, intervention. I want you to talk to me. What are we doing?
Well, let's get Cody's thoughts first and let him get it in.
No. We'll get Cody's thoughts after. No.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well,
I want to hear how the Baltimore Ravens are going to get better from this point because you're at the lowest of lows right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, right now I'm the highest of highs because I'm now 4-1. I've beaten up on pretty much everybody in my division except for the Super Bowl champ twice now. Barely lost to him with my backup quarterback. I had an opportunity to win. He just made a nice little drive at the end. We're playing to win now. We have nobody left to dev, so we're just playing to win, and we've been showing up and blowing everybody out except for Cleveland. So,
yeah, you just tried to dev guys when you lost 50-7 to Justin. Yeah, okay, understandable. Yeah, Cody, go ahead. Go ahead.
You play a whole season just chucking it up. It's hard to get out of it at the last minute, but I'm with you. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of disagreements with this set of users here. I mean, if I can give some of my rankings. So I had CMass at 15, I had Cloud at 16, I had Kook at 17, I had Kumar at 20, I had Monk at 19, and I had Finn at 21. So I'm right in the ballpark of all of these rankings. I think for me, Finn is one of those guys that obviously could, he had a really good season one, got frustrated with Madden, obviously took a short hiatus in his back, and then has, that very, very bad Texans roster. I can speak to that as as someone who has the Texans in his league top, so that can be a frustrating team to rock with for sure. But I think Finn's one of those guys where if he's locked in and plays a good game, he can beat anyone. Monk is definitely, I feel like Monk's in a similar situation where, he got this Dolphins team after Jesse had them, made some moves that probably, that he wouldn't have done. And so he's kind of just trying to, pick up the pieces a little bit and maybe start to build the team that he wants to. And maybe just, and he's competed with, those guys in the, sorry, I had to burp, AFC East. But I think right now, obviously third in the AFC East, and you see that with this ranking. Kumar with a high vote of 13 makes me want to punch myself in the face, but it's fine. Kook at 16, I think is fine. Cloud at 15 definitely seems a bit low. I think 14 for UCMass feels pretty close.
Finn should be higher, Monk should be higher, Kumar should be lower. Kook right about where he's at. I mean, that guy just any given Sunday can be a top 5 guy or a bottom 5 guy. So right dead set in the middle, I think it's pretty spot on for him. Cloud, he had one really good season, but I think there's a recency bias for last year having a really disappointing season that he's a little lower. I also noticed that every single one of these teams is an AFC team, and I feel like a lot of the AFC teams are ranked lower because they have to consistently play each other. And I know I'm surrounded by 3 NFC teams right now. I'm not sure if you guys could really argue with a passion that the NFC is deeper than the AFC, but I feel like there is it's tougher for the AFC teams because there's going to have some more losses because they got to play each other. Dan, I need to know who put me at 21.
Let's see. T1. That would be Mr. Nicholas Alfera, the Super Bowl 35 champion.
Of course.
Interesting. Well, I can't be
good vote, Steele. Love that out of you.
Wait, Steele. I heard Nick and I shut off. So Steele, after I beat his ass with my backup quarterback and didn't have my starting wide receiver. So that's interesting.
Hey, this is for 3 seasons only. Doesn't matter.
I know. It's just that was before that he put that vote in before he got his beat down. But okay, I think the Ravens are a little low, but I think that's just a recency bias. Not a great fierce few seasons, but keep your eye out for them maybe later on. Let's move on to the consistent playoff users. Hey, I think dropping to 14 from 4 after getting the worst kiss of death you can get in the business from Connor Rice, I feel like that's not that bad. The fact that the Ravens were completely deleted from the league is a win. After what you said about me before the season even started. So we're fighting back from that. All right, coming in number 13, and the consistent playoff users are 7 in here, and that comes in at number 13 with Duhuti, then followed up by Lucky at 12, Alex at 11, Austin at 10, Rutro, King at 9. Oh, that was weird. My thing just fast forward. Anyways, let's go ahead and finish it. Connor at 8, Morty at 7, Dan at 6, and then Justin at number 5. Dan, your thoughts here on the consistent playoff user group?
I think I really disagree with how the league put everyone here. We're
gonna get toxic here. I'm gonna get toxic as hell right here.
Yeah. To be honest, I really think that it's just a jumbled mess in this area. No one could really agree on anything. Everyone was really close in this tier. Like, for example, 5 through 8 was a matter of like just single points, like between Justin, myself, Morty, Connor, and stuff like that. So it really, they were just literally at the exact same spot. And it's kind of ironic that you say consistent playoff teams when like half of this list only made it 2 out of 3 seasons, like myself. And I was going to give him. I just want to say myself. I think I am way too high. I don't think I've been the 6th best user this cycle, especially after that very disappointing season 3. I put Connor above me because I never made the NFC Championship. Connor did last year. Connor had a much better season than I ever did. So, and I mean, even a guy like Morty. Morty's been consistently winning games every single season. So he's kind of a guy. King, I think King might be a little bit low. King had a poor season 1, and I think he's gotten better every season. He had a great season 2. He made the conference championship. I think he was a Kenny fumble away from making the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he should be a little bit higher. Austin, I don't really know what's up with him. No one really knows where to put him, to be honest. You could see maybe this season, maybe this is the spark he needed, that gunslinger with Mac Jones. But of the body of work for all 3 seasons, I don't really know if he's even top 10 right now. Alex, Lucky, they were 2. I think they made the playoffs all 3 seasons. They have lost all 3 of those games. And Dahoudi, I really disagree with Dahoudi being here. The only reason why he might is just because he made the conference championship season 1. I think he's had a very disappointing cycle. I think he is number 4 in the AFC North of that God division. I really thought he'd be a little bit better. I thought I never really knew Dahoudi not making the playoffs, and he's been doing that every single season. Like he missed seasons 2 and 3. And it's like, he's probably going to miss again, right? I don't think he has a good record right now. I don't have Daddy Leagues in front of me. So, he's been a little disappointing. He's been a little disappointing. He probably should have been in the tier just below this, maybe at like the 14, 15 spot. But again, this is kind of a mess. I don't really agree with this ranking. I certainly had it differently. But again, it was close between everything. So you can't really say, no one really clearly had anyone above it, so if that makes you guys feel any better. But I'm ready for you guys to get toxic, so I'll hand it over to you.
Chat's been blowing up a little. Cody, you get to go first.
I really just want to get toxic on one user, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Justin at number 5 is a damn shame. Whoever put him at 5, because that was his high vote, or I guess multiple people put him at 5. I don't know. Whoever put Justin at 5, and even if it was some of you guys, I need you all to present, like some of you all in the booth, some of you all in the chat. I need you all to present your nuts to me so I can kick you in them. Justin has done nothing all cycle long. He made 1 AFC championship. That's it. Just last season. Made 1 AFC championship. Is it though? Is it? I mean Connor made 1 NFC championship and he's all the way at 8. So if you're saying making one championship gets you at number 5? No. I'm just saying he's been in not a good division. He's been in a very mediocre division, and I can say that as someone, even though I love my brothers, we just saw the ranking of my division as well. So I just think Justin number 5 is ridiculous to me. I'll tell you who my number 5 was. My number 5 was Morty. I feel like Morty was a guy that a lot of people slept on. A lot of people said when they saw that NFC South, they said, Connor's got a shot. Finn's got it. It was just like, or maybe not slept on, but they said everyone got a shot. But I feel like Morty's this guy that always gets forgotten. Morty consistently has made the playoffs. I think has a playoff win, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I know he played me in the playoffs and maybe in the wild card, and I ended up beating him. But regardless, I had Morty at 5 because I think Morty has just been consistent. He's like, if you look at his BL career, he's been consistent. So I think Morty is the most deserving of number 5 for me. I'm not saying Justin should be like 15. I think you can knock Justin down to set. You could flip flop Morty or Justin. I had Justin at 9. And so that's what I had him at. I'm not trying to be a hater or whatever else. I just don't think Justin really has the I don't know. He doesn't have he just hasn't proved to me that he's number 5. I had Dan at 7. Yeah, like I said, I had Morty at 5. I had Connor at 8. I had King at 10. I had Austin at 6. I had Lucky at 11, and I had Alex at 12. So I think for the most part, for me, this all makes sense because here's the thing with this consistent playoff user list. I think people are freaking out looking at, 5 to 13. For me, where you can freak out is the 5 to 7, 8 territory. If somebody feels like, I don't know, and like I just called out, I don't think Justin should be 5. That's just me. I really don't think Justin should be 5. But everyone else, what we're saying is you are in this tier because you consistently make the playoffs. I understand, if you're the Luckies or something like that of the world where, you've had you've had a very good cycle, won a playoff game, and then you see yourself at 12 and you see Dan at 6. You're like, what the hell is going on here? I get that. And I feel that, but I think for the most part, this list isn't terrible. You could flip it around and I would tell you it still wouldn't be terrible.
Connor.
Yeah. I'm sure Dan and CMass, with y'all having, the lists in front of you, having the knowledge of who voted for which positions. I'm sure y'all were kind of, smiling, maybe laughing to yourselves during that whole list soliloquy because Cody, you asked people who maybe in the booth who put Justin at number 5 to present themselves. And I'm here to present myself to you. Because here is why Justin is not... I don't think he's the 5th most likely to win the Super Bowl. I don't think he's, the 5th best Madden user Madden got in this league. Here is why I think he's had the 5th best cycle of anyone in the league so far. He's the only user in this consistent playoff user category here to not only make the playoffs, I know Lucky's about to yell at me, not only make the playoffs every season, he has won a playoff game every season. Okay. I understand. I understand the weak division. You can say that about a couple other guys in this category as well. Justin has the 5th best regular season winning percentage. He has the 5th best playoff winning percentage, or total playoff wins at 3. Again, I just don't think you see guys, like Dan, like me, maybe I've made it further than Justin has, but first off, I played against Boz in the wild card, and we saw how that game went. That I did not need to do anything that game. Frankly, Cody, I say this with all love. That was not the best game you've ever played either. It's not like I played particularly well in either of those games. I don't think I deserve to be above Justin. I don't think Dan, with the season he just had, season 3, deserves to be above Justin. Morty, definitely has made playoffs every time. I don't think he's, again, had quite the success level that Justin has had. Justin has 2 more playoff wins than he does. And then you get to the King, Austin, Alex. They're just not, in my opinion. So I just think Justin has had the 5th best cycle. As far as not to just make this like the Justin show here, just to get to everyone else. Dan, I think I had these 6. I get what you're saying about the season 3 being disappointing by your standards, and it definitely was by your standards. But those first 2 seasons, you were elite. You were right there. That's still, I tried to make this I tried not to have recency bias go into my rankings. I tried to have it be season 1 mattering just as much as season 3. So based on that, I think you're right up there. Morty had a 7 as well, no complaints. I think I'm a little overrated, and I'm not trying to be fake humble or anything. The fact is, I had a horrible season 1, and again, I think the NFC Championship run I had, was kind of inflated by maybe 2 users who didn't necessarily play their best against me. So that kind of is what it is. So as everyone else, y'all need to get Austin's dicks out of your mouth. That's all I got to say.
I honestly can't. I actually honestly can't.
I mean, listen, I understand that, and it's a lot of dick to get out of there, but he has not had the best cycle. He just hasn't. I had him 13th. That's who put him 6th? Oh my god, I'm looking at this. No, expose someone, Dan. Who put Austin 6th? Who put Austin 6th?
I can't get his dick out of. I can't get his dick out of my mouth.
And his penis is very far inserted in his mouth.
I can't get his dick out of my mouth. It's just so deep in there. It's just so deep in there. It's so deep in there.
Did you see his playoff game against Phil? He threw 10 picks.
It's so deep in there. It's just so deep in there.
No, listen, I mean, I get it. Listen, he's hot, dude. He's hot. I get it. Like, I shoveled meat in my mouth with him right next to me. So good, pal. I get it, dude. I'm not trying to say otherwise, but this is Madden 22, not Madden 21. We need to relax here. With Gunslinger, he's dangerous, but these first 3 seasons, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Alex, lucky dude, I know you feel disrespected, dude. I put you at 12 too.
Cody, hold on a second. Wait, hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Justin just comes and and this is why, I wish I could gym face you 32 times. Cody's list is awful. He says, "You haven't seen my list. You've heard 3 names on my list. You haven't seen my list, you effing bum shit ass user. You'll never win a fucking Super Bowl, you bitch." I'm okay.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's all facts. That's all facts. I don't disagree with that.
That's all facts.
well, if you remove the Ravens from the league, Justin would only have 1 playoff win. It's not his fault. He played somebody who's trash.
Hey, let me say this though. Justin's won a playoff game in every season, and only Cody and Little Alex have that distinction as well. So he's only one of 3 people, and he is the only person to defeat 2-time champion Austin Pyle in the playoffs. That's his only one lone playoff loss against the Chargers.
Fifth best cycle is what it is.
I see Connor's argument, and I can't talk about the number 5 spot just because of my playoff luck against them has not been great, so I can't talk about him. I think that he's right in the realm of in this list here, somewhere in this realm. I think is fair. I think there's a few people that I would, I see a lot of names on here that I've beaten bad and that I've beaten that I wish I was a little higher than, but I think there's a bias for teams that have playoff success, and that's perfectly fine and accurate. So can't argue that. Although
before we move on to the next list.
Well, I haven't finished what I was saying, but okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Some AFC North, something. I don't know. I've lost track now. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, could Connor and I take our guesses? Because I feel like it's probably pretty clear who 1 through 4 is.
We can get there. Yeah, I can let you guess, and when we get to 4, who you think's there, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think I really have an issue with this list. I don't watch a lot of Alex's games, but when I do, I don't see the 11th best user. But if he has some playoff wins, I could see why people put him up there. King should be higher. I still feel like that he should be higher, but again, when I think of power rankings, I rank them based on if I see them beating the other person as opposed to their success so far in the first 3 seasons. So I guess it kind of depends on how you vote. Connor's argument for Justin makes 1,000%, based on the success. Dan also made a good argument, so I can't fight that. But I don't see Alex being the 11th best user. Lucky, I need to watch more Lucky if he's ranked 12th. Everyone else, I think, is right where they're supposed to be. Doohooty probably could be lower. Let's go ahead and move on and move to the top 4, which we consider the Super Bowl contenders. We're going to start off at number 4. Cody, I'll go ahead and grab your guess. Who do you think is listed at number 4?
That would be me.
You think it's you? And Connor, your thoughts?
Yeah, Cody.
Well, you're both absolutely correct, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. And Cody, highest rank was 4, lowest rank was 4. He dropped a couple spots from preseason where he was ranked numero uno.
Yeah.
Dan, since you already knew about this, we'll get your thoughts first.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unanimous. Everyone said he was 4. It's pretty clear. Cody is definitely above everyone else that was 5 through 13. And obviously he hasn't been to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl, so you really can't put him in the top 3. But, Cody had a lot of hype going into this cycle. He's definitely had some great wins. He's had some pretty disappointing defeats in the playoffs, but, so do all of us time and time again. So, but I really believe that with Gunslinger this year, I think Cody has a very good chance of making the playoffs. And I mean, he is pretty close to possibly getting Escape Artist with that Gunslinger. So, watch out, NFC. But he's always consistent. I think he has the highest winning percentage career-wise of anyone in this league. that's active in this league. Redacted technically has the highest win percentage, but of active players, Cody actually has the highest win percentage. So you got to tip your cap to that. He's always consistent, always making the playoffs. And I think a very staggering statistic is, like, especially with this league being very balanced now, and the competition has, stiffened really, really well. Cody has never missed the playoffs in my memory. I don't think he ever has. I don't know if it was like Madden 19 he might have missed, but since we returned from the league in Madden 20, he has been to the playoffs every single season. I think it's like 15 seasons in a row, and that's got to be a record. So I'll call that a record, and that is the longest consecutive playoff streak, and he's still going, and he's still going, at least to the end of the cycle, because if he doesn't win this division anytime this cycle, then something's seriously wrong. But we'll get to that. But you got to tip your cap. Very consistent, and I'll let Cody continue.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I said I was 4. I think it makes sense. I've made 2 NFC championships. Obviously, fell short. Connor, bagged my ass season 3. And was not able to make it back to the NFC championship. But I think it makes sense. I mean, I appreciate everything that Dan just said. I don't think I've ever missed the playoffs in my BL tenure. I could be wrong on that. Maybe Madden 18 I could, but I'm not exactly sure, but I feel pretty confident since Madden 19 I've not missed a playoff or have not missed the playoffs. So I mean, feels good to be 4. I think that's, I like, if I'm top 5 or top 4, I guess, or whatever, I feel pretty good, because I think, every season I feel like I could win the Super Bowl. That obviously hasn't happened yet. But I still, every time, it comes wild card weekend or divisional round, depending on if I'm the 1 seed or not, I feel like, all right, here we go. This is the season we win it. Hasn't happened yet, but I think a 4 is a very respectable rating for me. Sucks to go from 1 to 4, but I don't think anyone could complain about that.
Connor?
Yeah, I mean, even the crackheads who submitted ballots put him at 4. I think if this was like a pretty obvious one, there's really nothing else I can say about it. Obviously, I do think getting Gunslinger and then potentially Escape Artist in a couple of weeks, that really kind of will, it brings another dimension to Cody's offense. We knew that even with an ability list to, he was still one of the most efficient passers in the league, one of the most efficient users on offense, frankly, with Cam Akers as well. And it's really, really hard to bag him. I think I got a lot of lucky breaks in our game for sure, but even beyond that, we've seen kind of the proof is in the pudding with Cody. 5 playoff wins across these 3 seasons, 2 NFC championship berths. Obviously Little Alex has kind of been the guy that's been, shutting all of us down in the NFC, obviously with his 3 Super Bowl appearances. But now with Gunslinger, we saw this regular season, maybe Cody's back at his level, so we'll see what he's able to do. Cam saying Cam Akers is garbage. Wow, we're just getting toxic in the chat. All right, wow.
I mean, Cam did hold Cam Akers. Cam Man did hold Cam Akers to literally like 4 yards rushing in the game that we just had. He had about 10 rushes for 4 yards.
Yeah, Cody, you might not be top 20 anymore, dude. I'm sorry.
Yikes.
Cam Akers got bagged heavily.
Yeah, no, Cody, he will make a Super Bowl before this cycle's over, and he'll probably win it. So there we go. That's my pick for today.
Well, kiss your rest of your cycle goodbye, Cody.
Yeah, sorry, Cody.
All right. Yeah, I can't argue this. I think 4 is the right spot. So let's go ahead and move forward to number 3. Connor, I'll let you choose first. Who do you think here is at number 3?
That would be Miami Brothers Steel.
Your
Agreed.
thoughts? Yep, you both think it's Steele. Well, you're both correct again. Mr. Steele at number 3, high rank of 2 with a low rank of 6. Not sure who put him at 6, but and then preseason was at 13. Dan, your thoughts, Mr. Steele here?
Yeah, Steele had a very disappointing season 1. Maybe he was driving that little tank. Maybe he was in the tank with Boz, driving along, leisurely going through the games in season 1. And then he traded for Kyler Murray, and then all bets are off. He was just unstoppable that second year playoff run. And he's a Super Bowl champion, so you got to tip your cap to that. And he's going to be dominant for the rest of the cycle. It's really hard to beat him. He's got a good scheme. Some people would say otherwise, but you know, it's just the way the game is right now, and you got to find ways to beat it. And I think Steele's the number one person that believes in that kind of philosophy, and I have to agree. And he's a champion. Didn't have the best start, so I can see why a lot of people put him 3. Most people put him 3. You would argue that maybe, since there are only 2 champions, he should be number 2. But I think, number 2 is probably a more deserving number 2 just because of his consistency. I just have to expose somebody who gave me a really bad ballot. And I think this guy is just wants to be a contrarian, wants to be a little troll. I don't know what he has against Steele, but my guy Cam with the number 6, that is staggering. I don't know what was up with that. Cam had a lot of head scratchers. Like Justin, not everyone put him 5. Only a couple people put him 5, but Cam put him 13. Like, so Cam just hates Justin. We get that, but like. Cam's ballot was all over the place. Pre-cycle, I said Taint had the worst ballot. I think mid-cycle it was Cam. So we'll give Cam an award. Maybe we'll give him a little sub on a stream or something just for giving the worst ballot.
He says Steele did nothing before Kyler. That's his argument.
All right. I'd say that too.
You're not wrong.
I'd say that too. He's not wrong.
Well, yeah,
He's not wrong.
And I think that's why. And little Alex is not upset in the chat, but eating humble pie all of a sudden in the chat. And I think it's mostly just because I think people see that season 1 for Steele, and that's why he's not higher. But Connor, your thoughts?
All right, so I'm going to praise Steele, and then I'm going to defend him being below little Alex. So we're going to go 2 very different directions here with this here. I think that Steele's performance against little Alex in that Super Bowl is one of the best Super Bowl performances anyone has ever had in the Better League. When you look at just like how efficient he was on offense, escape artist, pass lead to lead. I get he has the abilities. Now I understand, hike and haul, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He was so good in that game. Like he didn't make, he kind of made a mistake at the end trying to run out of bounds Kyle Murray, but that was just like an incredible game from him. He came in with exactly the right mindset, went up against a very good performance from little Alex and matched it step for step. All it took was that one fumble by Gibson, and Steele was off to the races. So I have to give him his praise for that. That was just an unbelievable, like, all-time Super Bowl performance out of him. Now, here's why he's number 3. The Super Bowl, and this is going to sound sacrilegious for me to say, the Super Bowl, when you look at like the full body of work for power rankings, like Cody just put it in the chat, the Super Bowl is one game, right? Yes, Steele beat little Alex in the most important game in that one game. That does not single-handedly put him above little Alex, given that Steele, again, missed playoff season 1 and then didn't make the Super Bowl season 3. Now, little Alex has had 2, I would say, far better seasons, season 1 and season 3 than Steele did. So when you look at the full body of work, yes, Steele has the ring, which little Alex doesn't have, but 3 Super Bowl appearances for little Alex. I don't know, just more consistency. I think Steele belongs where he is at number 3. I think this was pretty clear.
Cody.
Yeah, I agree with everything everyone said. Steele at 3 makes sense to me. Yeah, he's got the ring, whereas little Alex doesn't. But yeah, missed the playoffs. Really, I think the argument will be for a lot of these guys, that have escape artists, like, is escape artist the reason they're having their success? So, we'll see if he can continue to have the success. I'm assuming he will, unless for some reason Kyler regresses and doesn't make Pro Bowl or whatever else. But, has a ring, missed playoff season 1, number 3.
Yeah, I think this is the right spot for him. Well, let's go ahead and move on to number 2, and I think we all know who number 2 is. And I pressed the wrong button. Moving on to number 2, and that is little Alex of the Washington football team, Washington Commanders, who did get some 1 votes, or at least 1 vote and a low vote of 3. Was ranked number 5 in the preseason. Dan, your thoughts, little Alex, number 2.
So a lot of people are complaining about the way little Alex is and how, you basically CMass with that one deal transformed him into this juggernaut that can't lose until he makes the Super Bowl. It's like he went 17-0 2 years in a row and almost won both all 3 seasons, or the 2 seasons he's had Lamar. But he did make the Super Bowl season 1, and he wasn't really the super favorite to. I feel like I probably should have won that divisional round game when I played him, but he still won. He played well. He competed really well. He beat Cody in the championship game and just came just a little bit short in Hero in the Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback. He really didn't have the best team. He had Gibson at superstar. So, but still, he was a competitor from the very get-go this cycle. Been very consistent, and obviously with Lamar, it's just taken his game to a whole new level. Very, very hard to beat. And really, if he doesn't win a ring this cycle, and I know we just keep putting more and more pressure on him as time goes on. Yeah. Every season, it's just like, when is this kid finally going to break through? But come on, let's be real. He's got to break through, right? Right?
Cody?
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to. He's going to get, he's going to get his Super Bowl at some point. Obviously, things are going to, we would only assume get more difficult as everyone else's team catches up. He made some really good trades to get, to kind of shoot out of the gate and make his team really well after season 1. And then that showed in season 2 and getting there. Season 3 obviously got there as well. But now, some teams are getting better. I've got Gunslinger, obviously, Dan's always going to be a force. Connor made it to the NFC Championship, this past year. So, the NFC is starting to heat up a little bit in terms of, I feel like a lot of people would have told you it was a 2 or maybe 3-man race for a while. But I feel like maybe, things are starting to heat up a little bit more, maybe making that like a 4 or 5-man race potentially, maybe just a 4-man race. But I think, he's a clear number 2. Unfortunately has not been able to, finish out those Super Bowl games, which I'm sure is wildly frustrating. As a user that, when I make the Super Bowl, I win them for the most part, that's all I'm saying. But, unless it's Morty bagging my ass, but, was that the Super Bowl? Yeah, that was a Super Bowl, wasn't it? Anyways, but in my opinion, I think he's going to win one. I'd like to say if he's going to go up against me, I'm probably, I feel confident that I'm going to win. I did finally, get that monkey off my back in the regular season, but, a couple weeks ago, but let's see, what happens when it comes, playoff time.
Connor.
Yeah, before I get to Little Alex, we got the 12th best user getting real loud in the Slack chat, and I just got to address it. Lucky's talking a lot of shit for someone who really, if we're keeping it a stack, if we're keeping it a buck, really has not done shit this year. I understand, the 3 playoff berths. I understand consistency, all that. Talk to me once you beat literally one elite user in the playoffs.
Wow.
He goes into every game against Little Alex being like, oh, I can't do anything. Oh, Lamar, oh, God. Shut the fuck up. Shut up!
Who did he beat in the playoffs?
I don't know, dude. I mean, it doesn't even really matter at this point.
To be honest, I don't want to add more to it. But when I saw
he
the
beat
list
Morty.
of
He
names,
beat Morty.
Oh fuck! Oh no, Morty. I'm sorry. Oh no.
That was one of those names that I saw come up, and I was like, he's better than me. But go ahead, Connor. Your thoughts on Little Alex, though.
Now, listen, I just need him to show some heart one time against Little Alex. But here's what I'll say about Little Alex. 100% without a shadow of a doubt, the most consistent user this cycle, right? I mean, even without the Lamar trade, made the Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor. His knowledge of the game, his knowledge of Madden 22 is truly, truly unbelievable. How he has improved from Madden 20 compared to, again, the improvements he's made, I should say, from Madden 20 to Madden 21 to Madden 22 is really pretty inspirational, for a lot of us mediocre users. It really is kind of a showcase of what guys who are kind of languishing right now can be able to do perhaps in future cycles. I'll say this though, Little Alex, you've had 3 shots at the ring now. Obviously, one could argue you've gotten closer and closer every time. The first game against Hero Austin, Austin did a really good job controlling the clock, West Coast style, whatever, that game. Pretty close, but I think Austin had it in control. Against Steele, really came down to the 4th quarter. Again, that was just y'all trading touchdowns until the end. Against Hero Austin the second time, had the wheel route open for the touchdown. We won't get into that. It is what it is. Your road just got a lot harder, buddy. Austin just got easy mode. Cody just got easy mode. You've got guys getting, easy mode abilities left and right. You better pray to God you win one this cycle. You better pray to God, because if you don't,
give me double easy mode. Give me double. Give me double.
Give Cody double. If you don't, it's gonna be one of the all-time memes in the history of the league, because you are absolutely one of the best users in this league right now. 0-3 in the Super Bowl. That's tough, bud. That's some Ocho energy, and it's wild that y'all lab together. Maybe the Lobs is Ocho. Have we ever...
Off the top rope.
I don't know, dude.
He needs some milk.
Some milk.
Am I lying, CMass? Am I lying?
You're not lying. I may not be as harsh, but it is broken. But I will say that, with every coming playoff run, the pressure becomes more and more. That'll be tough whenever he does get that monkey off his back, or if ever, you never know. But I have faith in him that he'll get there. But let's go ahead and move forward and give credit where credit's due to our number one user, and obviously that is two-time Super Bowl champion Hero Austin. Somebody ranked him lower than, I guess, Little Alex. Was the sixth best user in the preseason. Now number one. Can't fight this one, right, Dan?
Not at all, man. Really should be the undisputed, unanimous number one, but we did have a little bit of a toxic vote. I guess it had toxic history back in the day. King put him at 2. I guess he just physically can't put him at number 1. It's probably his rationale. But I'll be honest. I did not put him very high on the pre-cycle power rankings. You guys are talking AFC North Division of Death, and I thought about Steel. I thought about CMass. I thought about Tahuti. And I was like, man, I think I got Hero number 4 in that division. So I might have put him like 15, 16, 17, whatever it was on the pre-cycle. And, I'll own it. I'll admit it. I was totally wrong. He really proved himself and broke out of his shell this cycle, and, just got the monkey off his back. And he's just carried this league. Like, he's unbelievable. Consistent. His season 2, he didn't really have a good season. He did have the birth of his child, right?
Yeah.
So that might have made him not play well. But seasons 1 and 3, he almost went 17-0 both years. I think he went 16-1, either 16-1 or 15-2, number 1 seed, and just ran through the playoffs, ran through that AFC both years, and then played a very hard-fought battle against Little Alex both times. Both times came out on top. He's a 2-time champion, which is unbelievable considering all of the heartbreak and disappointment of last cycle. He was 1-7. 1-7 in the playoffs last cycle. And now he's something like 7-1. Just unbelievable turnaround for the guy. He's our champion. He's number 1, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Connor.
Yeah, just shout out to Hero Austin, man. Let me suck my Shepley brothers' cock for a little bit here, because my man was known as a serial playoff choker in Madden 21. You mentioned it, Dan. 1-7. Oh, whew. Oh God, it's not the one thing I like to choke on. Oh God. Okay, let me calm down. BLN. My man was known as a serial playoff choker all throughout Madden 21. As he said, 1-7. Had that super soft division he was in, and then just couldn't get it done in the playoffs. It seemed like he consistently kind of shrunk down. When the lights were brightest, when the moment was biggest. But you cannot deny the 2 Super Bowls, man. And the first one was, I believe Baker didn't have any abilities. The first one, all throughout season 3, I don't think he had it until the Super Bowl, right? Unless I'm making that up. But the improvement out of Hero Austin, not only in terms of just like pure skill, pure Madden skill, but in his ability to stay calm, composed, disciplined when the lights are brightest. He's done just an incredible job. As he said, clear number 1. There's no doubt in my mind. Obviously, King had the troll vote, but just shout out to Hero Austin, man. A deserving member of the Hall, and the best user of Madden 22 so far.
Cody.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of Connor, what a come up it's been. Hero's been a guy that has been trolled and memed, and has been the victim of many King, trolls and jabs, if you will. But something about that Browns team in Madden, man. They just got Deshaun Watson. obviously, for next year. So I assume, again, it's, maybe the Browns are going to be a number one team. You saw what Connor did last year. Obviously was only able to get one ring, but still, was a force no matter what. Then you get another user, and Connor was a guy too that a lot of people, would have said before Madden 21, like, he's not going to win a ring. I think coming into Madden 22, people would have said Hero's not going to win a ring. So maybe there's something special about this Browns team. And I'm not saying that to discredit what Hero has done whatsoever. I'm just saying, he picked, I think, a really good team for his style. He's pounding the rock, he's throwing the ball, wisely, and then making good decisions and getting it down the field when he needs to do. And he's got that defense to back him up. So, he's the undisputed one right now. No one can disagree.
Yeah, I got to give credit to Hero. I mean, we talked about it, 1-7 last cycle. And it's not like he was getting blown out. It would just come down to those last drives, and he just couldn't get it done. And the frustrating thing about playing him now is that while all our games except for one have been really close, it comes down to that last drive or last two drives, and he's been able to clutch up. And I think that's just been the biggest difference. And we always talk about all these, escape artists, gunslinger, all this other stuff. Up until just this season, Baker Mayfield has not had any of that. He's had abilities, but none of those OP ones. So for him to be able to be this consistent, this dominating in the playoffs and win 2 Super Bowls out of 3 with a non-ability quarterback, and now he does have freight train, but that's, I wouldn't say it's as OP as an escape artist or a gunslinger. But just all the credit in the world to Hero Austin for the run he's had. Let's see if he can continue it. I think he's going to miss some time potentially this season, so hopefully he can still eke his way in the playoffs, make another run, but we shall see. You see on the board now, all 1 through 32 in order. And I want to ask you guys, okay, we've talked about some people that we all thought should be higher, some people that we all thought that should be lower. What I want to ask now, because we're right around mid-cycle, I want your 2 people, one that you think when we do the end of the cycle will be higher, and one that you think will be lower by a fairly significant amount. So we do the end of cycle power rankings. Who's going to shoot up this list and who's going to fall down this list? We'll start off with Dan. Your thoughts. Who's going to shoot up? Who's going to fall down?
I believe that Cody Young is going to shoot up on this list with his gunslinger in his pocket. Mm-hmm. He's going to win a Super Bowl and vault to maybe even a top 2. And I believe Morty is going to fall down from 7. I think he's. I think other guys are going to. I think other people are going to climb above him. You, Connor, are going to go above him. I think a guy like King, a guy like Austin is going to get his act together. They're gonna climb up, and that somebody's going to have to come down. And that'll be Morty.
Connor, who do you think is going to shoot up? Who do you think is going to shoot down?
Still trying to get over that disrespect, to be honest. No, I think P-Town's probably going to shoot up. He's not like, let me just throw a record out of the hat here. He's not 15-2 good necessarily, but P-Town's really, really solid. I think he's going to have a pretty solid end of the cycle, and we'll probably see him, maybe in the teens, maybe in the low 10s. At the end of the cycle, we'll see him get above, Gamble, Chase, Tate, et cetera, et cetera. As far as who's going to drop down, that's a really interesting one. I think... Oh gosh, no one really stands out to me immediately. Finn, I think will drop down just because he had that incredible season 1 with the Falcons. Obviously left, and now it just seems like he doesn't really care. He's kind of just like grinding out the end of the cycle.
4-2 Texans.
Yeah, 4-2 Texans. That's a fair point. Maybe I'm. I'll go with Finn. I don't care. That's fine. That's okay.
We're going with Finn. Cody, who's going to shoot up? Who's going to fall down?
Give me when you say shoot up, how many spots are we talking?
Well, so for example, Dan gave his example was you going from 4 to 2, but obviously the magnitude difference between a 4 and a 2 is a pretty big deal. So it can be a couple as long as it's like,
Should I take someone's dick out of my mouth or no?
I would recommend it. You probably.
Well, let me start with my shoot. I'll start with my shoot down. I think Tahuti's going to shoot down. I think, I just feel like Tahuti came in swinging, was really locked in, and then just as it's gone on, he's definitely been here playing games. Like he's been at, like when I'm streaming, he's in my Twitch chats. You know, I'm sure he's lurking in Better League, you know, Twitch chats, stuff like that. But I just feel like he's not super into it as maybe he was, you know, back in the Madden 18, Madden 17 days, that type of stuff. So I could see Tahuti really shooting down a little bit further, and, you know, some of these other fringe guys, Monk, Finn, P-Town, you know, Chase, Tank, Cam, you know, so some of these guys like kind of sneaking their way in front of him. I will leave someone's penis out of their mouth, and I'll say myself as well.
So
and I'll put my own in my mouth. Yeah, I'll take Austin's out of my mouth, and I'll put my own in it.
This might just be locally to where I'm from, but did anybody else hear the rumor as a kid and we just automatically believed it that Marilyn Manson had some ribs pulled out so he can suck his own dick?
Yes. Oh my God. All through middle school. Yeah, I was like,
why did we all just believe that, and why was that such a like popular rumor like before like social media? You know?
I heard that.
But anyways, that just randomly popped in my mouth as we were talking about dicks in our mouths, and then you sucking your own self off. I always think of Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
But anyways,
see, this is why BLN's the best Madden channel. Though, like, where else do you get this type of content?
You know, there's at least 7 people who are viewing right now. We're just like, yes, yeah, absolutely. And then Justin, like, that's a thing. You could do that. Like, that's an option.
He's like, I guess I got to get surgery ready.
Oh shit. Yeah, start saving up.
You take it where you can get it, Justin. I understand.
We'll ask Dan a little trivia here. There was a user last cycle that either just barely made playoffs or didn't get a playoff win for the first 3 seasons, but from season 4 all the way to season 7 made a championship game every single season. Who was that user, Dan?
I'm sorry, what?
There was a user last cycle, first 3 seasons, either barely made playoffs and didn't get a win, and then from season 4 on was a championship game every single season.
We're talking about the Chicago Bears.
We're talking about the user that's going to be shooting up this list. History says, and I'm getting my dick in my mouth. History says,
let's go!
After season 3, you better watch
50 to fucking 7.
That's in the past, bro. I just beat his ass 50 something to, but you know, it's a regular season game. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
I'm ready for July when the cycle's over and it's all said and done. CMass puts himself like 3 again.
I might. If I,
and it's
I might.
No, I think that was Justin, right? That was Justin.
Speaking of which, while he's had a fantastic start to his season, I do anticipate that Justin's second half of the cycle, with all these different users now getting all these special abilities at quarterback, and Justin Herbert can't kind of get over that edge to get it, I anticipate he'll probably drop down some.
He is too busy running backwards towards the end zone and chucking passes into triple coverage because he means to do it because he knows that the triple coverage is not going to catch the interception.
I think Justin might just be so cracked in the passing game that he just like he just understands that that's going to be an incompletion. Yeah, he's just above us all.
I might not be that good at passing, but is the goal the incompletion? I'm confused. But that's my answer. Is that he'll probably drop down some. But this is your full power rankings 1 through 32. A big shout out to Dan who put this all together, and a big shout out again to those who voted at the very beginning. Don't have the names at the top of my list, but we're going to get our final thoughts here. I'll save Dan for last since he's the one that put most of the work in. Connor, let's get your final thoughts on this power rankings and the rest of the cycle here before we go ahead and cut it out.
Yeah, good list here. I mean, obviously we have some disagreements. It sounds like Cody and I have disagreements on the disagreements, so that's interesting. But you can kind of debate here and there, but overall I think this is a pretty good summary of where we've been. And I'll just say, obviously, especially with moved 48 hours, we're kind of like at a steamroll pace here. Let's keep it going, boys. This has been a great cycle so far. Obviously the game is questionable, but it's all about the brotherhood at the end of the day. It's all about competition. It really doesn't matter how bad the game is because we're just all here for each other. So let's keep it going. Let's have a nice end of the cycle, and my Chicago brothers, I'll see you soon.
Cody, your final thoughts.
Yeah, we've talked about this list a lot, so I'll stray away from this specific list, and I'll say this. Hey, League, can we step the hell up and get more than 13 damn submissions next time? What are we doing? What the hell are we doing? It's season 3. And we get 13 submissions. Somebody might as well just take my nuts off and then feed them to me. Come on. Let's get at least 20, 25. We got enough committed users in this league. Maybe we start booting. Maybe we start sending this out, and if you don't submit your list, you get booted. We got a deep wait list. We got a deep wait list. We got a deep wait list.
I had to hear about Warren one more goddamn time. Yeah, I don't know about booting people that don't fill it out, and I'm one of the people that didn't fill it out. But to be fair, I think like Dan had jumped in my DM as soon as I lost 50-7, was just like, "Hey, GGs, but could you fill this out?" So I don't know if I was in the right frame of mind for that. But my final thoughts is, fantastic job, Dan, putting this list together. Cody and Connor coming on here to talk these lists. I always love getting their pure reactions as when they're released and see it for the first time. Thanks so much, Lee. Everybody has been in chat. This is the most activity we've had in Twitch chat and in Slack chat in a while we're streaming. So appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. And look forward to the rest of the cycle, and look forward to some new Super Bowl winners or some guys that won some in the past. Somebody other than Steel and Hero would be nice. Dan, you get the final closing thoughts before we cut it out.
Hey, again, great show, guys. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, CMass, for putting together this beautiful PowerPoint. Once again, thank everyone for voting. Thank everyone for showing up. And just thank you guys for just being the best league around. We're the best league. No one can touch us. I think we have the best community. And please, let's get these advances going. Let's ratchet up the pace, because let's get 6 seasons in. This game sucks, but this league is wonderful. Come on, let's go. I want to get this cycle of 6 seasons, and I'll see you all in Chicago, Illinois.